All right, guys. So this is chapter 11. I am still walking my dogs. I'm recording all these at the same time. This is me multitasking. I want to try to find a good spot to just kind of chill to do this. It's pretty out here. It's really nice. The weather's gorgeous. Sun's out. It's pretty nice. I got dogs running around in the background. That's awesome. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Vain Man. Okay. The Vain Man is an interesting short chapter. And I was reading through you guys' discussions about this here Vain Man. And everybody has the same conclusion. He's a little bit ridiculous. He's not doing anything. But then I believe, I think it was Thorne. I'm pretty sure it was Thorne, but I could be wrong. It could have been Madison Carty that said something about, I want to give credit where credit's due, but I'm not at my computer, so I don't know. But it's one of you two that said something about maybe the reason why they are the way they are is because they are alone. They don't have anybody around to help teach them not to be that way. And I find that to be a very fascinating take on it. It's that, nobody's there. They're alone. And so does isolation and solitude really do manifest itself in a human as their truest qualities? So if you take yourself and you stay alone, it's kind of isolating or interesting that we're talking about isolation right now, because we are all isolated, but not fully. We are not truly isolated. We have each other. We have technology. We have a way to reach out. We have a way to maintain a semblance of intellectual society, but we don't have a way to physical, right? We don't have a physical society. So I find this to be a very fascinating time to be talking about, especially the drunkard and the king and all of these individual planets, the lamplighter, all of these things, because does isolation create a situation in which you are 100% your true self without societal influences? Can you be you without other people? And if that's the case, if the answer is yes, what type of person could you be without other people? What type of person would you be without other people? How much has society really taken you and changed you, altered you, adjusted you, fixed you, improved you, just by existing? I find that to be a very fascinating question. So think about that. Think about, what would you be? I would be a slob. I would be a slob. Absolutely. So there's a little bit of a question there. The Vain Man, that lesson itself is completely transparent. It talks of arrogance. It talks of confidence. And what are the differences of the two? We all know somebody who's super, super arrogant that doesn't really do anything. And you're like, how can you feel this way about yourself when society hasn't backed that up? You talk about the businessman. The businessman I really like. I want to do a separate video on him. But the drunkard. The drunkard is a very interesting one as well, because I think Bree Hill, I never know how to say your name when I read it, so I just call you Bree. Miss Hill, what you said was something about, it's his own fault. He's a drunk. It's his own fault. And there's a big part of society that agrees in that. For alcoholics, they're doing this to themselves. For overeaters, they're doing this to themselves. For addicts, they're doing it to themselves. But how many people on the planet are not drunks or drug addicts or, killing themselves through their own actions because of the people around them, because of the people who help ground them, to help them not choose to take that path? Does solitude play a role in the drunkard's, addiction? If the prince stayed, do you think the prince could have helped him? That's a really interesting question. I think that's that's a good place to stop on this one. I'll post it. You guys, please reply to this. Tell me what you think. Tell me what your thought processes are. Is there anything that you are learning from this book, even though we're not doing it as a class together? And is there any, you know, are you still enjoying it? Is it something that you're really happy that I'm still making you do? Or, you know, do you want me to just say, okay, write an essay and let's be done with the course? I would love to know your examples, not examples, but your thoughts. So I'll leave it here. I'm going to record another one about the businessman because I think that one's awesome. And then I'll also talk about the lamplighter in a separate video as well.